This is Dr. Joseph Frager. We just returned from Washington, D.C., from a conference run by Impact America and Breitbart Media, uh, run by Frank Gaffney, former deputy to Secretary of Defense under the Reagan administration, and David Bellavia, who's a decorated soldier from Iraq and Afghanistan, who is the head of Impact America. This was an all-day conference. It featured some real incredible stars in the conservative political spectrum in America, particularly Senator Ted Cruz, who gave a rousing address, talked about all the threats to national security. The conference was dedicated to national security, and Ted Cruz, of course, has come out very strongly about the subject of national security, particularly in relation to the recent invasion by Putin into the Ukraine. Also, of course, we're seeing Ted Cruz come out very strongly about Iran and the threat that Iran poses to America and, of course, Israel. And this is his second conference that he's come to on this subject. In addition to Senator Cruz, a number of incredible generals. We had General McInerney, who we've heard from before, Vice Chairman of the Air Force, retired. We had Admiral James Lyons, who was the head admiral of the Pacific Fleet. He was for 35 years was the admiral that was in control of the largest fleet of the American Navy, and he spoke very strongly against the administration for its handling of a number of subjects, but primarily this recent invasion by Putin into the Ukraine. He felt, for example, Admiral Lyons did, that a number of things America could have done to offset Putin's move. One of them would be to have brought two major aircraft, I'm sorry, not aircraft, but large aircraft carriers into the Mediterranean and threatened to bomb Bashar Assad's his stronghold in Syria, and also to send Israel bunker busters and fuel tankers to allow for a potential bombing of the Iranian nuclear reactors. So both of these thoughts came from the admiral. I mean, he was a brilliant man in his day, and still to this day. And I think his words should be heeded. I think it would have been a very effective strategy, double strategy, if it had been employed. It was not employed, and we hope that it will happen, and maybe it will. Now that we're talking about it, and maybe it will. We also heard from a number of other incredible individuals. Judge Jeanine Pirro spoke about the threat to the grid, American electrical grid, from an EMP attack. She's a very strong, not only former judge, but also strong TV personality. We've heard from the father of Tyrell Woods, Charles Woods. Tyrell Woods was the officer, one of the four officers killed in Benghazi. The father made a trip all the way from Hawaii to come to this conference. He felt it was that important. He came all the way from Hawaii to speak about his son and how much of a hero his son was fighting in Benghazi, and how we have to get to the bottom of the Benghazi situation in order to obviously prevent further situations like Benghazi, protect our American soldiers, and to rescue our American soldiers in times of trouble. One of the main or key points that I thought I got from Charles Wood's speech was that there were assets available, tools available for America to go in and save Ambassador Stevens and the 4 American soldiers who were killed, and they were not employed. These assets were not utilized, and that really rung true to me and really hit me, very strongly. So I think that this conference was about a lot of subjects. It also included the subject of Hamas and the Muslim Brotherhood in America. It turns out that, according to a number of the speakers, that CARE, which is the Council for American Islamic Relations, which goes about its business as though it's a very up and up, sophisticated, high-level organization, turns out to be a front for Hamas. And that seems to be very clear from the evidence and we're talking about a great deal of evidence on that subject. Of course, this will be denied by CARE, but CARE is a very powerful political organization in America. And the fact that it's a front for Hamas means that it has truly pulled the wool over a lot of people's eyes. So we're very happy that I think some of these messages that people are not aware of were actually brought forward today, thanks to Henry Schwartz and David Bellavia, Impact America, Frank Gaffney, and many others, of course. And that wasn't even the half of it. I mean, we really, it was a truly successful, wonderful event. And as I said, Ted Cruz was one of the main highlights, and he spoke brilliantly, as always. And I think that it did have an impact. Everyone, including General Boykin, who was there, who was the head of the Rangers and Special Operations Forces in America, very respected general for 36 years. He spoke strongly on America helping Israel, not only as an ally, but with the Iranian threat posed to the world, not only to Israel, but to America, that Israel should get, just as Admiral Lyons spoke about, the bunker busters and the fuel tankers and all the spare parts and all of the other munitions that will be needed in the event that Israel has to go in. And it seemed like, certainly Admiral Lyons seemed to indicate that it's all up to Israel now because America's not going to do it. That was an important point, that the Obama administration is not going to take out the nuclear reactors in Iran, and it's going to be up to Israel. And the generals today, the admirals, all seem to indicate, to give the green light to Israel to do that. It's up to Israel to decide to do that, and it's up to the administration here to allow them to do that with the proper munitions. And if we did get something out of this conference today, it would be that. And I'm hopeful that God willing, that will be the case. Thank you.